All right. We are still going to maintain our format. I'm focusing on the question tab. So that is the tab we are using. So if you have any question or any other thing, you drop it there. Okay. Once again, welcome to the backend development class. What we are looking at today is introduction to Nodejs. But before we go into that, let us understand what backend is. So, what is backend? Backend is an engine room, the house of every software application. That is what backend is. So let's assume we have something of this nature. From this my drawing board, you see that I have 3 boxes here. This first one is the front end, and then the middle one is the back end, and then the last one is the database. This abbreviation, that is what it means. So let's look at it this way. Take this as a restaurant. When you get to the restaurant, everything there is beautiful, is decorated, and it's fine. You sit down. Then someone will come and meet you, asking you what you need. After telling the person what you need, the person will now go back to the counter. So in this case, let's assume that this backend now is our counter, and then ask if there is a food that is already prepared. You as the guest, you request what you want, then they will check in the counter whether they have what you need. If there is, they will now feed you back. They will give you what you want. They will dish it and do everything. If they don't have, they are going to the store to get what you need and prepare for you. By so doing, before they go to the store, they will now notify you that, yes, we don't have this available in store, in counter, so we have to go to store and then prepare it for you. If you agree, then they will go ahead and do it. So the store here, we assume this is our database. Anything that the front end here requested from this back end, if it has or it does not have, then it will go to the database, which is the store, and look for what you requested. But if the backend has what you want, then it will now feed you back with the information. So that is how the entire software works, from front end to back end and then database. So you as a backend developer, these two, backend and the database, is what you will be working with. The backend here is where all your logic happens. This is where you are going to code everything that concerns the logic of any application. That is why I say it is the house of every software application, because all the logic of the application is happening in the backend here. Then the database here is where you store your data. Whatever you request from the front end, like a user fee, a registration form, then the backend will now process it. We check it. We validate everything that you are doing on the front end. When you click on send button, it will validate everything and check if it is okay. That is what the company needs or the employees need. Then it will now save that to the database. Pending when you need it. When the user come back, now okay, he already has account with you. He want to log in. The front end now will send a request to the back end again. The back end will now check and then send message to the database, which is the request. And then if the user exists in this database, it will now return the user details to the front end. So you filling the form or you trying to log in, you will now see your details. It will now direct you to the login page, to your dashboard. So that is how the entire software works. And by communicating, we have what we call APIs, which is operate under the umbrella of HTTPS, which it has some methods that are used to communicate. For example, if you are trying to fill a form, after filling the form, you submit the form. That one, you are making a post request. But when you register already and you want to get your dashboard or your details, your profile, that one is get request. So there are so many of them. We have get request, post request, put request, patch request, and then delete. But all this one, we call them method. Get method, post method, and all of that. They are all HTTP method. So that is how it works. Using this API, you communicate with the backend and the database. And when the backend gets the information you want, it now sends you the feedback, which is what we call request response lifecycle. So that is how the entire software operates. But as a backend developer, you are responsible for these two, the backend and the database, where your logic happens. This is where you are going to code the logic, the functionalities. This is where they are going to be in the backend. So any information you get from the front end, the user input, you are going to store them in the database. Then as it is, you can host this thing, the front end, the back end, and the database on one platform. You can as well host it on a different platform. You can host the front end on Vercel. You can host the back end on Render. You can host your database with MongoDB. And for the course of this training, we are going to be using MongoDB. We have other databases too, like MySQL, PostgreSQL, and so many of them. So you can host them on different platforms, but they can still communicate. What will make them communicate? We have something that's called IP addresses, which is Internet Protocol. That is what makes them to connect together. When you host them, you have to link the IP address to each other. Then they communicate through the IP address. So that is how the entire software works. Before we proceed to the practical aspect of it, if anybody have question about it, please drop it in the question tab so that we can look into it before we proceed. But if not, you are good to go. Please drop a thumbs up so that we can proceed. All right. So let us proceed. So now, when you come to your desktop now, you will create a folder. In this case, I'm going to create a folder, and then I will name it Introduction to Node.js. You can also use Terminal to do all this, to create a folder and as well open it in your VS Code. So now I have my folder here. I'm going to open it with my VS Code. Yes, this is my VS Code now. Now, we are moving forward. Having known what the backend is and how the entire software works, we have some tools that you have to get them before you can proceed or you can work as a backend developer. In this case, we are using Node.js. So what is Node.js? Node.js is a runtime JavaScript environment, which it enables you to run your code outside of the browser. That is the purpose of Node.js. It's a runtime JavaScript framework. It's not as React in front end. Sorry, it's not like the way you used to test your code with a browser in front end. Node.js is a framework like React, but this one is used in the backend. It allows you to run your code outside of the browser. That is the purpose of Node.js. And what is the programming language we are going to use? The programming language is JavaScript. We are using the Node framework to run the code we are building in our backend. So Node.js is not a programming language that you'll be thinking that, yes, I want to go and learn it again. It's a framework of JavaScript. So the main programming language is JavaScript, but we are using the Node to run the code. So we need the Node in our application. How are we going to get Node? We are going to install it. For you to get Node, you have by going to the Node website. This is the website here. when you type this website and hit enter in your browser, this is what will come out. So for those of us that does not have it installed on our laptops, we have to install it. This is where you will download it, and it's advisable you download the latest version. That is what you are going to download. But me, I have it already on my system. So in case you don't have it, you can go ahead and then download it before we do any other thing. You are not seeing the screen. I'm not seeing the screen. You are using the Nodejs download. Okay, yes, it's better. Maybe it's your network then. So are we good to go? I'm trying to send something for you. That is the link to download Nodejs. Okay, so let us proceed. After downloading Nodejs, we need NPN in this application, and NPN comes with Node.js. The moment you install Node.js, is installed together with NPN. Now, there are a few steps for you to set up your projects in the backend. And sometimes these projects, some steps, you do them once in one project. You are not repeating them again till you deploy that project. So at this point, we need to pay more attention for the steps. I believe that everybody knows how to open terminal in VS Code. Anyhow you want to open it is good for you. But if you don't know, you can see on the top left corner here, these three dots. You click on it, you click on terminal, and then you see the new terminal here. It will open for you. If you don't want to use that one, you can click this one here. It will still open for you. If you don't want to use that one, you will click Ctrl backstick on your keyboard. The key before escape key on your keyboard. In between escape key and the tab key, Ctrl backstick. So that is what I'm going to use now. You see that my terminal is up. So what is NPN? NPN is Node Package Manager. Node Package Manager of NPN is the one that manages all the packages . you are sure. All the packages you are going to use. Please let us pay attention at this point. This is where the journey begins. And if you don't know this step now, believe me, you don't know anything. You will not do anything in the back end because the setup matters a lot. So, the first step after creating a folder and opening it with your VS Code, or you can open it in any terminal, the first thing to do, you are going to initialize this project. You have to initialize this project before you initialize the project. You have to type npm install. Sorry. npm init -y. I believe you can see my terminal. If you are with your system, you can try it out. npm init -y. That is the first step for any project you want to set up. When you type npm init, and then you click enter on the keyboard, you will see a file called package.json file in your file directory. You are going to see that shortly. So if I hit enter now on my keyboard, look at my terminal. It has been installed now. Package.json file is installed. You can see it here in my file directories here. It's here. Before, when I open it, you will not see any file here. But now that I initialize the project, you now see the package.json file. Coming back here in the terminal, pay attention in the terminal. The npm init, you are now asking the Node package manager to come into your application. What does that mean? To come and handle your application, because it's in charge of all the packages you are going to use. So you want it to come for you. Just like you want to do something and you ask some few people to come and then set a committee for you. You call them committee of CPC. Yes, that is how they call them, CPC. So in this case, we refer to package.json file. Is the one that is handling everything in your application. So this npm init -y, this -y now, if you remove the -y and type npm init, it's going to work, but it will ask you a series of questions. You get to answer one after the other before it will now create the package.json file for you. But you can as well edit this file. I open the package.json file now. You can as well edit this file. You can change the name in this file. You can see the name is intro_nodejs. The version is there. The main index.js is there. And the script, the keyword, the author, the license, and description. Everything is there. So you can as well edit it. So by allowing it to be asking you too much of question, why you can edit it after, you now put -y to say that yes to all the questions. This -y, you are saying yes to all the questions. That is what the -y means. Oh yeah, I am ready for all the questions you are going to ask me. Continue and create the package.json file for me, and that is what it done. So now, if you want, you can edit this name. If this is not the name you want for your application or software, you can edit it. The version is here. This version is there because sometimes you build an application or software and you want to have another version of it. You can do that one as version 2. Then this first one will be version 1. That is what it means. Then the main, this is the entering file, entering points of your application. Every request coming from front end, this is the file that is accepting it. This is the file that is welcoming any request of this application. Now, after this file receive the request, is the one that will now, it's just like the reception. When you get to a place, you enter the reception and then you ask them or tell them what you want, and then they will direct you. Assuming you are looking for one Oga office and you enter the reception, the receptionist now will direct you to the route where you can get to the Oga's office. That is what this file represents, the entering point of your application. After that, we have the script. The script is where you have your command, the running command. That is where you have your running command, the script. We are going to edit it, but we will get there soon. All this one, the author, the license, the description, the keyword, you can put it then. You can edit it concerning your application, how you want it to be. You are the one that know what you are building, then you know what to put there. So that is the reason why we put -y to do what? Install it, and we can edit it from here. Are we good to go? Any question? If we are good to go, please drop a thumbs up so that we can proceed. All right. One thing you have to know or put it at the back of your mind is this package.json file. You don't have to delete it. You can edit it, but don't delete it, because it's the one handling everything in your application. Is the one handling everything in your application. All the packages you are going to install in this application, they are going to be stored here. When we install them, you will see them. So please, when you are building your application, don't delete this file. Don't delete this file. Don't ever delete it. When you delete it, your application collapses. All right. After creating the package.json file, the next step, which is the second step, you have to create this file. This is your entering point now. You have to create it. How are you going to create it? For me, I like using the entering file as server server.js. Oh my God. I use it server.js. This is how I always use my entry point. So now you are going to create the entry file now. I will copy this and then come back here. Mind you, this file is not going to be in any folder. It's going to be inside this introduction to Nodejs, this particular file. As we progress, you will have many folders inside this intro to Nodejs folder. So this file is not going to be inside any of the folder you create later in this program. So you always come down and click here. If you have many files or many folders inside, you click down here to make sure you are on the intro to Node.js or whatever you name your folder. Then come up here and then click here to create a file. So I will now paste what I copied there inside there and click enter. So it now creates the file for me. This file is the same thing. The name of that entry file, entry point, should be the same with what is here in your main here. Make sure it's the same thing. Confirm it multiple times. And after editing this, your package.json, please save it with Ctrl S. If you don't save it, the changes you made, they are not going to take any effects. So after creating the entry point, the server.json file, we are now going to bring in Express to manage our application, to build on top Express package. How are we going to do that? That is the third point. After creating the package.json file, you now create the entry point file, which is the server.js. Then after that, you now bring in Express in your application. Express package. You now go back to your terminal. Then you type npm install Express. npm, look in my terminal, npm in your terminal to install Express. npm install Express. You can type it in full, install Express. You can type it in short form, install Express. It's still the same thing. So pay attention in my terminal and as well pay attention in this file directory of your application. So I'm going to now hit enter on my keyboard. So you can see it installing. My Express is installing. You can see it. It's running in my terminal. It's almost done. Yes, it's done now. So now that it's done, you can see that I have a message here. Added 67 packages and audited 67 packages and audited 68 packages in 15 seconds. That is what you will see when the Express is installed. In your file directory here, you will see that you have another folder called node_modules. Node_modules. There are some modules here in this folder. When I open it, you see there are modules that your Express is going to work with in the course of developing. So he installed them together as you are installing Express. You will see another file here called package lock.json. These two files, they are here because you install Express. How are you going to know that Express is installed in your application? Come back to your package.json file and then you will see Express here. Yes, JavaScript is the programming language and Nodejs is a runtime environment. Yes, you are right. Yes, the Express is the package that you are building your backend on. This is the package we are using. It's a Node.js framework that we use in building backend. Before then, they were using Node to build, but it's not easy like Express. So they now brought in Jesus Christ. I still have the same issue. My battery is giving me warning. Please bear with me. Bear with me. Before it shut down, the Express is the framework of Node.js Please, sorry for that inconvenience. It's because of power supply that my. Can you hear me, please? Drop a thumbs up if you can hear me. Sorry for that inconvenience. Please bear with me. I'm here to have solar, that's why. So as I was explaining, the Express is a package that enable us to build our back end. The simplicity is that what matters. If you ask those before developers that are into tech before now, they will tell you that using Express is more easier for them to build application compared to when they were using Node.js. So that is what we mean by Express. You can also do research, but it's not much definition as compared to Node.js or JavaScript as you ask. But that is the work of Express. Everything you are doing in the back end, it depends on that express. And you don't have to delete your package.json file. Those are the things you need to have in mind, because once you delete it, your application is gone. It won't work again. So that is what Express use. And you see, when we install it, it's installed as dependency. We have what we call dependency and dev dependency. But when we install it, if you have your own machine there and you are following what I'm doing, you will see that in the package.json file, you have dependency and then dev dependency is not yet now there. The dev dependency is not there until we install something that we want it to be on the dev dependency. What do we mean by dependency and dev dependency? Dev dependency is what your application is depending on, the packages that is depending on that application to run. When you were in school, you were depending on someone. For those of us that never reach to find money, or we don't have any resources that can we paying our school fees or buying handouts, as the case may be. So you depends on person. When the person did not give you, you request and the person did not give you. Yes, you don't have any option. You don't know where to go. So that is what is happening in this backend developing. That package.json file is where your packages are going to be, and your application depends on that. So when they are not there, what your application depends on is not there. Nothing the application can do, because that is what it depends on. So the dev dependency now, for example, we are going to install something called Nodejs in the dev dependency. What does that mean? Dev dependency means development stage. When you are coding, you are developing. That is what we call development. When we finish developing now, we are going to deploy it. So there is a difference between development and deployment. When we are coding on your system, doing testing, running all of that, that is what we call development. When you deploy it, we mean hosting it on a platform like Vercel or Render. That is when we call it deployment. You put it on the cloud, is working. Anything you are testing by that time is fetching data from your cloud. The hosted platform is communicating with your database as well as the front end where you hosted them. That is why I say earlier that you can host them on different platforms. You can host everything on the same platform. Everything depends on you. Or if it is a company that hires you, they will tell you what to do. This is what we want you to do for us. So you use the knowledge of your backend to do it for them, because they are the owner of the work. They are the owner of the company, the owner of the application you are building for them. So that dev dependency now, we are using it when developing. Like if you start your server now, next time you make a change in a file, you have to restart the server. You have to restart the server again. You have to tap it again, wasting your time. But with the help of that Nodejs in dev dependency, you now use the Nodejs to start your server. So whenever you make change and save it is going to restart by itself without you restarting it. That is what we mean by dev dependency. And when we hosted it, when we hosted it, when we hosted it, we are no longer using that dev dependency again. That is the reason why we call it dev dependency. It depends on development, not deployments. When next we meet, I will show you in the package.json file where we have the script. You will edit it and put your start command and the dev command which you'll be using. So when hosting it on a platform, we are going to use the start command, not the dev command. Dev means development. So that is how it works. Please, I don't know whether it's making sense without using my system. I don't know whether it's making sense. All right, thank you. So please be patient with me. It's because of light issue. So, but don't give up. We keep pushing. Maybe on Thursday we'll still meet again. I will still have some charge, and by God's grace, maybe NEPA will not